In the ongoing story of David, Saul relents. David kills a bunch of Philistines. Saul gets handy with his javelin again and purposes murder out of jealousy and insecurity, yada, yada, yada. Then Jonathan, the one who one might expect to be jealous, Saul's son and heir, befriends David and conspires to hide David from harm. Not like a rival would, like a brother would. Not all brothers are born of the same mother. Not all mothers give birth to their children. Think about that. The saints we commemorate today are 9 martyrs of 2nd century Rome, at which time to be Christian was dangerous, and the toleration of the practice of the faith was dependent on the current emperor's whim. I want to focus on the first 7, the so-called Holy Brethren, and more particularly their unsung mother, Saint Felicity, not commemorated today. We get to her in November. For their refusal to renounce the faith, taught them by their mother, each of her 7 sons were put to death through cruel and torturous means before her very eyes. Can you imagine anything worse than a mother watching her 7 sons being tortured and slaughtered because of what she had taught them? And yet, she had given them new life. As parents, if you are a parent, we can only teach our children as best we can, and then we let them go. If we don't, they never learn to fly. If we do, they sometimes crash to the ground, and sometimes they do everything right and still fail in the world's eyes, but not in yours, not in God's. And for those of us who are not parents and not siblings, Jesus in Matthew's Gospel and Pope St. Gregory the Great, quoting this passage, call us to a higher plane of family, one not forged in our blood, but one forged in the blood of Christ, not in human birth, but by new birth, by water and the Spirit in baptism. St. Gregory notes of this passage in his homily preached at the grave of St. Felicity in Rome around 590, speaking to his clergy, that when Jesus says to those gathered, the faithful disciples, in the presence of his blood mother and kinsmen, behold my mother and brethren, pointing to the disciples. It is not surprising that we call those close to us in the faith brother or sister. But Jesus calls them, Peter, James, John, Andrew, et al., mother. Gregory goes on to say that we become mother to each other when we preach, when we cause faith to be born and new life thereby to be created in and amongst each other. We bring forth Jesus in another. Felicity did this in her sons. You do it in your sons, your daughters, your spouse, your friends, your fellow church members. Or if you don't, you could. You should. You might. How? By living a life of faith. By living a life of quiet witness. And by sharing that life with others. By telling others to come and see what it is all about, and then bringing them along. Then will you be brother and sister and mother to Jesus Christ. Let's see if we can't, in some small way, Become Christ's mother today.